Hey everybody, it's Chris. It's Thursday, September the 5th. Big day. Big day. Not just because I have a suit coat on. Allan Lichtman, the professor at American University, who has predicted 9 out of the last 10 presidential elections correctly. The only one he missed was 2000, and honestly, he had Gore, and lots of people think Gore won. So 9.5 out of the last 10 elections correctly, has made his pick. Okay, for people unfamiliar with who Allan Lichtman is, he's this guy. He's a professor at American University in D.C. He developed this system in the 80s that's aimed at taking polling and really the candidates almost totally out of the equation when it comes to predicting who's going to win. What does he do instead? He takes sort of longer term trends that historically have predicted winners and has combined them into what he calls the keys. So there are 13 of these things. If 8 or more are turned in favor of the incumbent party, meaning that the statement he makes is true, this will make more sense in a minute, the incumbent party will win. If 8 or more of them are false, the challenger party will win. So let's go through each of them, and then we'll get the big finish. Okay, key number 1, midterm gains. Did the incumbents party make gains in the midterm election, the last midterm election? They did not. That key is false. That's 1, if you're counting, for Donald Trump. Incumbency is key number 2. Is the incumbent president running for re-election? Also false. Joe Biden is not running. 2-0 for Trump. Keep your own count. Number 3, was there a significant primary contest for the incumbent or the nominee of the incumbent party? No, Kamala Harris did not have any primary at all, actually. So that key is false. 2-1. Third party. That key is true. 2-1. Come on, Chris. Number 4, third party. Is there a significant third party challenge in the race? With RFK out of the race, there is not. That makes that key true. 2-2. Short-term economy is number 5. Are we in a current recession? We are not, which makes that key true. Number 6, I'm looking at my monitor. Number 6, long-term economy. Is the long-term growth as good or better than it has been in the last 2 terms on average? It is. That key is true. Policy change. Has there been significant policy changes by this incumbent president of the United States? Yes, Biden obviously has instituted a number of policy changes. That makes it true. Social unrest. Are there large numbers of protests? This is number 8 if you're counting. Are there large numbers of protests and social protests in the country? Not currently. That key is true. Number 9, White House scandal. Is the president currently embroiled in a major scandal? Yes, Hunter Biden is embroiled in a major scandal, but Joe Biden is not. That makes that key true. Incumbent charisma. Is the person running in the incumbent party a sort of generationally charismatic candidate? Lichtman says Kamala Harris is not, making that key false. Challenger charisma. Is the challenger sort of historically charismatic? Lichtman says Donald Trump is not. I might quibble with that, but he says Donald Trump is not. That makes that key false. Now, if you add those up, that's 11. If you add those up, you get 8 trues, 3 falses, which means Kamala Harris, according to Allan Lichtman, will win this election, even before we get to the 2 final keys, which are foreign policy failure and foreign policy success. Lichtman says too early to be determined because of the situations in Ukraine and Russia and in the Middle East. But even if those 2 flip false, that means we have 8 true and 5 false. Harris still has a majority of the keys true. She will win. Okay, should you go to Las Vegas or your favorite online gambling site and bet all of your money and your mortgage on Kamala Harris? I would not do that. I think Allan Lichtman's record is pretty damn good. 9 out of the last 10 elections. That's really good. I still think some of his keys, and I've talked about this in videos before, some of his keys in my mind are a little bit subjective. Short-term economy. Yes, it is true we are not in a recession, but lots of people are not happy with the economy. So giving that tick to Harris, that key to Harris, I'm not totally sure about. Challenger charisma, I mentioned this. I think Donald Trump's really charismatic. He may not like how he's charismatic, but I think he's really charismatic. Lichtman gives that key to Harris. Not sure about that. So I just think there's a little bit of subjectivity built in here. Remember, too, Lichtman predicted that Joe Biden would beat Donald Trump even after the first debate, which I would say is demonstrably false, but that's what his keys predicted. I think this is an interesting data point out of lots of interesting data points. I take polling. Unlike Lichtman, I look at polling. Unlike Lichtman, I look at election models like Nate Silver's 538, Decision Desk HQ, The Economist. These all have election models. I think that's a piece. I think candidate quality matters and how they run their campaigns matters. I don't think this is just an academic exercise. In short, I think candidates and campaigns and the context in which they run absolutely matters, but I think candidates and campaigns matter too. So for me, it's interesting. Allan Lichtman's an interesting dude. Always has been, and I don't think you can totally discount a guy who's got 9 of the last 10 elections right, and the one he missed, the guy who he thought won the popular vote and lost the Electoral College. But I also don't think you should take it to the bank. One data point out of many, one star in a very crowded sky. In my mind, we are headed to an extremely close election. I'm going to do more about that soon on just how close this election might be. But Lichtman is somebody who gets a ton of attention for these keys. I think it is absolutely worth checking out. I will link to the New York Times video below where he rolls out his predictions and explains them more fully so you can check it out. But you should check it out. I would just not bet your mortgage on it. All right, that's it for me today. Let's see. I have a TV appearance tomorrow, so the Friday live stream is going to be at a different time and a different location. I think I'm actually going to do it at Georgetown because I'm teaching there. So I may do it there, and it'll be a little later in the afternoon. It won't be 1, it'll probably be 2, but stay tuned for that. In the meantime, you can do 4 things. You can subscribe to this channel, which you should already do, people. Come on. You can like this video. You can comment on this video. Do it for the algorithm. And you can tell 10 friends. We are up over 38,000 subscribers. I've got some exciting news I'm going to make a separate video on to let you know about. So look for that early tomorrow, I think, assuming I can get it done. But in the meantime, do those 4 things. They're easy. They'll take 5 minutes, maybe less. All right, everybody. Take care of yourselves. Be well, and I'll check you tomorrow.